The verse of the day is Colossians 3:18 through 19, and it says, "Wives, submit to your husbands as is fitting for those who belong to the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and never treat them harshly." Marriage, let's talk about it, because I have so much history. I am not married, so I have zero experience in this area, but I do have some understanding about why God says this and kind of the design of husband and wife. And it's kind of cool because really, male and female, we were created with a certain design. That's why we're different. The men were created with a desire to need respect, with a thing in them that makes them want to protect and lead their family. It's how they were created. It's an innate thing within men that desire that in the design of God, if they're becoming men of God. And for women desire to feel safe. That's literally it. We desire to feel safe in the relationship. And that's why the husbands are called to love their wives like Christ loves the church. So it may seem like, okay, why would the women have to submit? That seems horrible. No, it's really like blessing how women were designed. We are designed to want to feel safe and protected and to be led. And that is great news for us because this is how men were designed. And so this is why it's so important to look at how God created men and women and marriage, because it was all intentional. How he created men were intentional. How he created women were intentional. How he designed them to marry is intentional because it's how it functions well. And if we all play our part and just become who we are and be who we are in God, and literally all that looks like is growing with God individually and becoming who we were meant to be simply by pursuing Jesus and getting to know him, because then you just become who you were always supposed to be effortlessly, just through developing relationship with Jesus. And this is why I talk so heavily on it's so important who you choose to marry, and why I might have some fear of choosing wrong, because it's the most important decision you will ever make in your life. Who you choose to submit to for the rest of your life, you best believe I need him to be a man of God. You best believe he has to have conviction and be led by the Holy Spirit and hear from God well, because in order to submit to someone, you have to trust that they are going to God. And if I can trust that whoever I marry knows God well, knows Jesus well, develops relationship, then I can trust that he's going to love me well. Because if he has conviction and he's a man of conviction, then he's going to be paying attention when he's not acting like a man of God, when he is slipping up, or when he does need more love or more compassion or more patience. He'll be convicted because the Holy Spirit will be convicting him whenever he needs it, just like he does for me whenever I need it, or you whenever you need it. This is why it's so important to be a man and a woman of conviction, because that means you're following the Holy Spirit. That means you're taking accountability for the parts of you that slip up, for your sinful nature that slips up, for your flesh, selfish desires that come up. And this is why God has to be at the center, because how the heck else do you make it? How the heck else are you supposed to give pure love and forgive 70 times, 7 times, and never hold a list of wrongs, but always give an allowance for people's mistakes? And the only way I personally can ever maintain a heart of love and keep a heart of love on and forgive 70 times, 7 times, and see people the way God does, is if I have God first. There's zero chance I'm able to love people well without the Holy Spirit in my heart, because the Holy Spirit teaches you real love. The Holy Spirit helps you heal from unforgiveness, heal from the things of this world, make your heart whole. And this is why God has to be first. And then it's your husband, and then it's your wife. And if that's the right order, then you can trust today's verses. You can easily fall into the order of today's verses. Wives can submit to their husbands because we trust that they're going to God to lead them, so we can trust that they're going to lead us well. And it's going to be a safe feeling knowing that our husband is the leader. Our husbands got it because that is a safe feeling for us. That is a part of the things that we need. It just makes sense. And then for husbands, love your wives and never treat them harshly. Our role is to submit and to give respect and a reverence of who they are. And their role is to love us like Christ loves the church. So to lay their life down. Sacrificial love. This just doesn't mean like falling in love. It means sacrificial love, loving them better than themselves, dying to themselves every day so that they can love their wives well. And if we all stay in our right role and we love how we were created to love, I believe relationships would be so much stronger. I believe there would be a lot more people getting married and not such a epidemic of the dating culture being trash, for lack of a better word. But I love the order and the design of how God created man and woman for marriage because it just makes sense in my head. I think it's so important to understand that being submissive isn't like this like slave mentality. It's a blessing when you allow yourself to be in the design of how God created us as individuals, of male and female, and in marriage. Today's verse reminds me of why it's so important to get whole before you get married. It's not the marriage that makes you whole. You're supposed to be whole individually before you get into marriage, because in order to really play your part, in order for women and men to be how we were created to be, we have to get to know our Creator individually, become whole with just you and Him. And then it makes it so clear and so easy to fall into the design of who we are and how He created us as human beings. I mean, it's just, as a woman, I can't wait. I can't wait to be able to submit to my husband and to have him be the leader of my life, and to feel safe with him, and that he's protecting the family, and that I get to support him through that, and we're equal. It's not like he's greater than I, but it's just how we all own how we were designed. The men need respect, the women just need to feel safe and loved. And that's how a marriage can stay strong. But none of that can happen if God isn't at the center, which is why Jesus has to be first. Jesus has to be first. Relationship with God. Put the Lord your God first above all, and everything else will go well for you, including your marriage, including how you carry yourself, and how you were created, and how you were designed, and how you build your family. So that's my 2 cents. Okay?